Hello. Good evening. How are we doing? Hey, Nacho. Um, it's flipping wet outside, is it not? I don't know how everyone's doing where you are, but yikes. The weather outside is just scary. Like, Bay Campus is windy, so I work at Swansea Bay Campus, but today was like something else. Like, it's the first time I've ever actually been almost blown over. Um, so let's get into it. So you may notice that I am missing a certain David Towsey this evening. So Dave has decided to take a bit of a break from streaming. Hey, Dave Soft. Um, in Wales it absolutely is. Dave has decided that he's going to take a bit of a break from streaming, and so I thought that would be a good way of kind of like experimenting, a good reason or excuse to kind of experiment with some things. So those of you who have been around for a while, which most of you have, will know we used to have a Patreon, and we used to have a Patreon, which was really good and really useful for kind of getting some support. And it was quite nice to kind of like share a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. But it ended up kind of becoming almost like a source of guilt for us. Like we're doing this part time, so we thought maybe we shouldn't keep doing that. I just felt guilty that I wasn't doing enough for it, and people were really kind and giving us money. So I felt a bit guilty. So we're kind of missing a lot of that stuff, that behind the scenes stuff, which I think a lot of people enjoy. I enjoy it. So I figured that Twitch could become that a bit more. So, I'm going to start that today. Like, we're going to play around with some level design and stuff. And then, like the other thing, if you're able to sub, that really helps. All this money goes into the stuff we're doing. But if you can't and you're just coming along to hang out, that's fine too. Exactly. We're gonna raise the curtain for as long. We're gonna keep raising the curtain. But I will still play some games every now and again. But I thought, that's what I'll do. So that maybe was a little bit awkward, but let's get into it. Let's see what I've got here. So, look at this. Also, come on, like I got this kind of like this way. Look at this. I mean, look at the. Like I don't have a green screen here. Like it's just I've got that crazy NVIDIA camera stuff. So we're currently working on a game, and it's called Contraptions Chocolate Factory. We're pretty certain we're going to keep the name. I mean, I've paid for the Steam. We've paid for the Steam page, so like. There's a whole process. You got to kind of phone Gabe up and say, hey, I'm changing my name if you do that. So I don't really want to go down that route if we don't have to. But so where are we with this game? Let's have a look. Let's just start with showing you where we are. And like just shout out questions and stuff. Since this is the first one, like I kind of am wondering whether to just start showing just show what we've got. So, okay, let me know as well with size and sounds and everything. My setup's a bit nuts here. So what have we got so far? So the game is a Chocolate Factory game, as many of you have already seen on TikTok. Our current aim at the moment, like our focus, like a lot of focus when you're kind of making a game, and like let's be clear on this, our goal with this game is to make money. To make money, that sounds, we also create something amazing and wonderful, but we want to sell copies so we can make more games. That's kind of the gist, right? Like ultimately we have to be like that. Like we could go the starving artist route, but I don't really want to do that. So, we want to get some, we want to be able to sell copies. And if we want to be able to sell copies, then we need a Steam page. And like the way things work now, like a really good strategy is to get a demo on Steam. And so that's kind of what we're aiming towards, is how quickly can we get to the point where we've got a demo we can give to people. And that kind of really affects our kind of development cycle. So yeah, so what we've got here. So this is our protagonist here, which is this dude who Dave did all the art here. And so compared to our previous game, Making It Home, there was like the game bit. So if I go into one of these little things here and launch a level, so we've got. This is kind of like the game, right? This really is the game, which is it's a factory game. So here I've got to get nuts from over here down to this exit here. I should maximize this. That might make it easier to see, right? So yeah, that's fine. So like I need to, and I build stuff and I have a budget. Some things I've added actually that you might not have seen in the TikToks. A few things. So. Right, so like right, okay, blah blah blah. Let's just I'm going to make a machine that kind of works, and we'll go from there. So right, what do we need to do? Let's add this there. That looks good. Oh, did I get all the way there? Oh, not quite. Right. So what I've added. So the idea is it's a factory game, but with physics. Okay. So here, we just want to get our nuts. We don't have to do anything to the nuts, just get them to the start to the end. And I added an overlay, which shows you like where things have traveled. And kind of the idea behind that is twofold. Firstly, like when you're editing, when you're making this, like it gives you, like I can see where that nut has traveled. So I know that I just need to put like a conveyor belt down by ear and I should be all right. So now if I turn off the overlay, I can see here. This should get me. Yeah, there we go. So I'm getting my nuts into the exit. A lot of people pointed out similarity potentially with Lemmings here as well. Like there's kind of a Lemmings vibe going on. But this is the game. This is like the game. This is the kind of general loop we're going for is almost like a puzzle style game where you get given a level, you have so many components to use, and then you build a machine and you have a budget, and it's about getting a good enough efficiency, which is how many of your ingredients you use, which here I've 100%. And then at the end, you get a, like, do you want to continue or try again? And there's a couple of things I've done here so far, like thinking about the rating as well. So like, how do you, this first one's going to be like rambling as I kind of just talk through a lot of what we've been thinking. Yes, Dave Soft, you're exactly right. This screen, everything needs more yay. We definitely need to juice the hell out of everything still, for sure. We need like more particle effects, like, and congratulations, you got S rank. So there's kind of a ranking system which I've come up, which is to do with how efficiency and some other things and budget, which modifies it. It's possibly a bit too complex at the moment. But yeah, so you know, this is something we're still kind of thinking of design through. So the loop is, you try this and you're happy with it. You click continue and you come back to the overworld map, and then you go on to the next like room in your factory, I guess, or whatever. And look at this screen freaking moves. Like I can drag the screen around. Thank you. Thanks for the follow. Azief. Thanks for that. So, yeah, it's like it can move. Anyway, so you can move around here, and the idea is what we wanted with this kind of screen was, in Making It Home, it was very much like we kind of wanted you to feel between the gamey bits where you build your vehicle and stuff. We wanted you to feel more connected to those truck stops than ended up being. Those truck stops really became a menu, whereas the idea is that this is going to be the story. Okay, it's a post-apocalyptic chocolate factory. So the idea is humans are all gone, and just robots are left. And robots have done everything, but they don't know how to feel. They don't know how to love. Oh wow! Thanks so much for the sub, Harajo. Thanks. So Yeah, so the robot overlords, they need to feel love and happiness, and the only way they can do that, or they find they're like, what we've conquered everything, or we've done everything, but we don't know how to feel anything. So the route to feeling something, of course, is chocolate, right? And I think the idea is Captain Contraption. We're not sure if Captain Contraption is this dude, or if Captain Contraption is like someone like this abandoned factory that we found. So anyway, factory. So the idea is I want to kind of like go into this factory and like you're kind of rebuilding it. So you're the robots doing that. Yeah. Dave, I do like the idea of the random number generator. Having humans as random number. That's kind of amazing. Or pets or something. So yeah, so what we want to do is this. We want you to give you this feeling that you're exploring this big factory, and as you unlock things, So what I've implemented so far is so Dave designed this, and what happens is when you unlock levels, at the moment, if you look, so I can't get to this area here. So there are some new levels, and this is the kind of the next levels I need to design. Well, I can if I go and edit the save file, which I will do at some point. So those are the kind of next levels. And so it's going to split into zones. So you start zone 1 and you're just dealing with nuts. Zone 2, you got to actually kind of heat the nuts up and roast them and so on. So that's the idea. And what we're trying to do is get to the point where we have this first, eventually you'll get to this bit. So over here is going to be like a lift that then takes you up to the next level. And so the loop is like, it's going to feel more like a puzzle game, I think. I think it's going to be quite puzzle gamey. That's the goal. That's the idea. And for us, that's quite a big change. And the big change for us is that we have to actually do level design, which is not something we've ever really had to do before. All our previous games were very much like sandboxy. Cycle 28, like Dave Soft said, it was a bit of a detour, really. And so we've really had to start thinking about that. So we've kind of come up with a way that we're going to do these zones. So, and I want to talk about that. And then I'm going to design a few levels. Like I think that's what I'm going to do this evening. Which you can design some levels and see how that goes. So let's have and then okay, this is kind of like this is the live content. We're making. Do you know what I was even thinking about? And I don't know if I can figure out how to do this. I was thinking this of maybe making a TikTok live on air. That would be like, I'm not sure if I can, that might be a second live behind the scenes stream, but eventually maybe we think about doing something like that. So this is actually, so this is basically our kind of, the way we're trying to get around this issue of we're not very experienced with level design is we're kind of introducing like a way we're going to design every like essentially area. And each area is going to have 4 levels, which do these 4 things. And this is very much like a Miyamoto kind of Nintendo way of doing things. And it actually comes from Japanese poetry. But it's quite, it's quite nice. It's a nice way of thinking about things. So the first thing we do is we introduce a new mechanic in a zone. So you come into a zone. So here, like here, what we've got, I can show you this actually. So if I go down to the first level, so we are now here, we're in the first level here, introducing a new mechanic. So the mechanic that we're introducing here is simply that you need to move stuff from the entrance to the exit. So, and I've designed this level. So if you look, right, so this level is designed, the other thing about this first level is it needs to be safe. It needs to be easy to do. And the player needs to be able to do it quite easily without too much thought. So what we can do is chuck, like I've actually made it so that if I've done this right, yeah. So I've tried to make it so that the geometry here, oh, there's no sound. I'm going to turn that. There you go. So we tried to make it so that, it's obvious where to put these things. And so it really, the level kind of suggests what you need to do. So that's pretty easy. Like, I'm not doing much. It just works. I did, and also like that, these 2 are my entire budget. So these cannons, but I could try and do it cheaper with the 5 one. Like if I wanted to. So again, we still need to, so I got an A with the current rating system. So I could try again and try and get an S rank, which would mean I'd go under budget. But for now, I'm just going to continue because I'm just showing these levels. So the next one, so we introduced that new mechanic safely. So now hopefully, you know, they've learned that idea we need to transport things. Then we test that the player understands it. And that's through this one. I already showed you this level. So here, the difference is there's now a choice. So I can go above or below. And actually, so the way that I designed this was that going under is actually, you can do that cheaper than going over. And so that's kind of the idea behind this one. And then level 3, the third one in the kind of zone, is to add a twist. So here, the twist is we now have 2 entrances and 1 exit. And this is kind of this is going to be almost like foreshadowing to the end, like when the game gets to the point where we've got multiple ingredients interacting with each other. Because to do this, what you actually need to do is kind of think about, they need to kind of hit each other. So so let's try and do this one. So I'm going to use conveyor belts this time. So Dave, so if you said bounce off screen edge, do you mean that as like a twist, or is that, are you asking what happens when they get to the edge? At the moment, they just kind of fall off into oblivion. Yeah, they just fall off into oblivion. So yeah, yeah. So it's kind of a twist. This has actually ended up easier than my original kind of idea with this level was that you'd have to kind of get these to hit each other and then fall down into the exit. In fact, actually, do you know what? Like, this hasn't worked. Huh. So there, it's not quite as simple. Okay, so this is going to be a case of bad. That didn't work, obviously. So there is more nuance than I realized. Right, okay. So a D-. Oh, that's not good. So that's the third one. So we've added the twist. And then we kind of conclude the whole thing, that little subsection we conclude with a challenge. And then we have this level, which is actually quite challenging. So what we have here is we have a nut and a chocolate and an exit, which is a nut and a chocolate. So we need to get these to here, but we then have we have to kind of essentially create 2 like lines, right? So I have to kind of bring my nuts up and around and my chocolate up around, and they'll end up crossing each other. So yes, the dispensers give different things. So I probably won't sit in, well, I don't know. Do you want me to do this? Do you want me to go through and do you want me to show you a solution for this? Or shall I go and start designing some levels? First person to say in chat gets to decide. But and that's the idea, is that it's not obvious, or it's about, okay, cool, let's do it. So it is about don't worry about that, please. Yeah, and so this is the adding a twist. So and then things get a little bit more complicated, much bigger budget as well. So where shall we go? Even though I designed it, I kind of always forget what's the best way to do this, right? So see if this one makes it up. Also, if you notice, I deliberately let's go. There we go. Is that better? Oh, that's a bit too far in. Can I, I wonder if there's a way of just fitting it to the screen, but I don't think there is. Right. So I deliberately put the chocolate one, the nut is in between the chocolate, so you have to cross paths. So let's see. Does this work? Oh, almost. I think I can get that in. Oh no, I need to go that way a bit. There we go. Okay, so chocolate I've got going, and then I can make this overlay, and I can kind of see where the like I could actually kind of avoid things here, right? So that's going to roll all the way here. So I can just, in fact, I can just put this here, right? And then what's my budget? I've got 70. So how many of these can I afford? Thanks, Nacho. I was pretty chuffed with the overlay. Like, because I only added the overlay because I wanted to, because I was thinking about how like multiple like goals. So like one of the kind of like things is like we've been thinking about is this is kind of like a Rube Goldberg machine in a way, right? And the idea behind a Rube Goldberg machine is complexity. It's about having too much complexity. So we needed a way of measuring that. And so I figured the way to measure complexity, oh God, I need to fix that. So the way to measure complexity would be, that might work. The way to measure complexity is how much of the play field do your ingredients actually, there we go, good, done. How much of the play field do your ingredients take up in their travels? And so that overlay is just, I've got one of these. In fact, I can show you. If I unmaximize and go to the scene view, so, oh my goodness, all the gizmos. Right, so I actually have, where is it? I'm going to pause it a second. So what I've actually got is coverage manager. So there are like, let's have a look. Oh, I'm in the game view, that's why, right. So where are we? Okay, so if I go to, can you see now? So I have basically created, if I click gizmos now, can you see? No. I wonder if I just click that. Can I? Yeah, okay, so you see all these green squares. So each one of these is a trigger. So there's a sprite in there. And so when a thing goes in, it says, okay, something's traveled through this. And then the percentage is calculated by how many of these things that are on screen versus, like, you know, you work out a percentage. How many of these did we cover? And because they're static colliders, they're pretty performant. And so here we go. So we've, you know, like, that's the challenge. So, and that's kind of the conclusion, right? So, and then the idea is 4 levels, then you're not overly doing it. Okay, you introduce it, you get to a point where it's kind of like some kind of tricky thing going on, and then you go on to a new mechanic. And that's kind of the level design. That's where we're kind of going. That's what we're trying to do here. So the next levels, so I need to now, so this is the map all in kind of scene view. So the next thing I want to do is design a level for the chocolate. So this chocolate bit, this is going to be where we first introduce the idea of actually you need to combine different ingredients together. So let's go. Any questions so far? I feel like I'm almost treating this like a lecture. But just, you know, ask away. So it's probably also the, so I'm pretty proud, like, I'm pretty chuffed. I wrote a level designer. So there's a level editor. So, level 2 or 3 again. Right. So, okay. Let's, where you need to, so, I could show you like one of the later levels that I've designed. Like, so there's we can go, should we just go through all the levels? Try me to go through all the levels I've designed. Cool. Right. Okay. So this one, did I show it? Right. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, because we haven't done any toasting. have we, this evening? So let's do some toasting. So this is where now you get a different mechanic. So and the mechanic here is toasting, and you can see this is deliberately the same as the first level, except there's this thing here. Yes, exactly. We have a new verb, and in that verb is the best verb of all, which is toast. So I can pretty much do the same. If I do the same one, does it work? Yes, it does. So you can see now, I'm toasting. So the mechanic is put something through heat, and it changes. So I've got a nice little lighting effect here. There's some light being emitted by this thing here. Still haven't quite figured out, like, one thing that we're going to be doubting ourselves is kind of the look of the game and whether we're going in the right direction with it. Can a chocolate coated thing then be toasted? So no. So you can coat a toasted thing with chocolate. Like I did have it originally where if you ended up putting like a toasted almond back through a toaster, it would just disintegrate it. But that was potentially quite tricky. Thanks for the follow, questionable. That was potentially like a tricky thing to do. That made things really difficult. I mean, we could still add that. So this one then, so remember, so let's go back to our list of our text editor of dreams or something. So we introduced the mechanic safely because it was the same as what the player had already seen, except with the bloody furnace. Now we test that the player understands it. So we add a little bit of challenge. And the challenge here is, look, like again, this is really good. So, I'm kind of proud of a lot of it. Like, I'm feeling good about, like, obviously I'm excited about it because I'm working on it. But like more than I normally am, I think I'm really enjoying this process of level design, which was something that was quite scary to me to start with. But now kind of, presenting this back, I realized that, I think I'm feeling more confident in our process, which is good. So what we've got here is we've got 2 almonds, raw almonds, then this is the toasted almond exit, and this is the non-toasted almond exit, right? So the player needs to understand that I've got to get my almonds over here without them getting toasted, right? Because this is for non-toasted. So can I get this guy? No, they got toasted, so I need to go a bit further along. Okay, that just about does it. Okay, cool, and they get in fine. Oh, almost. What's the best way of doing that? I think they're going a bit fast. So they're going a bit fast. What if I do this? Is it going to get toasted? Oh, no, I'm going to do let's do a, one of these guys. They're quite expensive though. Right, I think I can do this. Yeah, there we go. That's going to work. And so this is kind of like where, this is the idea of the physics thing going on. Also, notice they've got eyes. Like, we haven't really figured out whether we want to keep the eyes or not. But we added those for a little bit of juice. I don't know. We're still kind of figuring out the look, really. So, okay, so I've got my non-toasted almonds. They're happy enough. Now we need to toast some almonds. I kind of wanted to add crosses to the. I want crosses on the toasted almonds, right? As well. So what's tricky here? Thanks for the follow. what's tricky here now is that we need to come back on ourselves, right? So like, because, and this is kind of where what I'm talking about with testing is that like, so we're testing the player. This is quite a complicated move coming back. Like, so I kind of, right. So what I need to do is catch this guy and bring this guy back. So let's rotate around. So if I add one here, you notice there's a bit, I'm a little, like, again, this is, to those people who are coming along for the first time, this is like something that, when did I announce this? Does anyone remember? When did we announce this? Oh, shoot. No, that's not going to work. Maybe just one like that. Does this, I'm trying to think, a few months, yeah, we've not been working on it that long, really. What if I do that? So there's a lot of room for change, and so like there's a little bit of a bug about placing these. So like you can't place them on geometry, but like there's something going on I haven't quite figured out. What if I do this? Does this? I might have to change. Right, I need to. Ooh. Okay. Huh. What if? Right. What if we do this? Oh, I'm way over budget. What the heck? Like, I designed this. I should know what to do. Like, I should know. Like, I can get this. I can do the opposite way around, right? In fact, then I don't need this. Oh, no, that just falls into... I need to... Like, I can send this one to the exit, right? Oh, no, they're both going to go. This is probably a good sign. Because I designed the level and I don't know how to... and I'm, like, still figuring out how to solve it. Right, okay. Oh, how did I do this? So... Let's go back to this one going over... Was this one? Oh, no, wrong way. Also, we're going to add some arrows to these conveyor belts because it's not obvious which direction these are going in. Okay, so that gets... Oh, no, it doesn't. How did I have that before? Like that? Something like that? Okay, that's okay. That's okay. That we can do. Oh, I didn't mean to have two. That might be a bug. What if I put this there? So I can't make the cannon... Like, so... no, we haven't... I haven't made it so you can make the cannon stronger, no. Thanks for the follow. Oh, I'm so close there. And my current cost is way under, so maybe this is... right, let's have a look. Bump, no, not quite. Let's see if that works. Hey, Frozen. How's it going? Oh, shit, the bed. Right. Right, I'm going to use my flipping tools. Like, Right, let's use the overlay. Like, so now I can put that there. And we can go there, and maybe that will just get in there. Oh, no, wrong way. Okay, yeah, we need to add arrows to these conveyor belts so I know which way so that we know which way they go. Oh, so close. Right, this is completely a different way than I did it when I designed it. Like, there we go. Okay, and I just realized this is just sitting out here doing nothing. So, yeah, so I think this is gonna do it. So that was that's quite a challenge there. Right? You're having to think differently about it. And that's kind of the idea. Something we've added as well, you'll notice that this speeds up eventually. So it's kind of about making sure that this not like it couldn't handle the speed up here. But I'm under budget, my efficiency's good. So this is kind of like, this should be a pass, right? In fact, so we've got these challenges up here. So we do want to have a concept of you've completed a level. So we've given you a rating B. We're going to add a bunch of, we'll add some effects here. But that's an open question, actually. Like this is kind of an open, something we're kind of trying to figure out is like, what's a good kind of target for players, and like what kind of objectives do we set that kind of gate the future stuff? Oh wow, thanks for the sub. Thank you. And so yeah, really, really appreciate it. Like we, like a lot of stuff. We got a we got a Twitch payout a few months ago, and like that really helped us with buying some like add-ons and things for Unity and some other things. So thank you. I do, we really appreciate it. So now we're on level 3, which is the adding a twist. Okay, so the mechanic, we introduced the mechanic of toasting. We then kind of challenged the player to figure out they understood it, and now we're twisting. Okay, we're adding the twist. Launching the level. And the twist is, it's the same level, but no furnace. So how on earth... Oh, no one looked down at the red... Yeesh. There was an index out of it. I know what that bug is, by the way. But, I feel like if I'm going to do this kind of development every week, we need a bug counter or something, where every time there's a bug, like I need an automatic out of range detector, or you guys are going to have to do it. Also, Frozen, the health thing. Yeah, you're exactly right. Health inspectors would go crazy. So yeah. I kind of want to try and do some of these crazy things in real life for marketing. Like I kind of want to melt some chocolate and throw it at an almond and see what happens. Nice, Frozen. Okay, we've removed the furnace, and now the player can buy their own furnace. So we've got this heater. It's meant to be like a laser. I think I need to add some effects to it to make that clear. So you'll notice I added this thing here, because if I didn't add this thing, then you could just like drop it straight down to the exit. So let's go. But this should be simpler, right? So let's go. So if this comes down here, well, let's get the easy one done first, right? Rotate. So that's something I'll probably do. Like what I need to make all this more juicy and nice, like the controls and like how it feels to just place things needs to feel great, because that's the main thing you're going to be doing. Like you're going to be spending all your time placing stuff, so that's got to feel great. It's really funny actually, because like when Dave was testing some of these levels, I didn't tell him you could rotate things. So he was trying to. It's like when you hear about people who don't like turning right when they drive, and they find these ridiculous routes where they only turn left to get somewhere. It was that sort of thing. Does this go under here? Yeah. That's just. So yeah, and also the rotation's a bit dodgy at the moment. If you look, the rotation doesn't happen. It happens around like the bottom corner. So it happens around this corner. And that's to do with something. Oh man, it was an absolute ball ache getting this. So all of this stuff, if I go back to the scene view, and I click on the master grid, so you can see that everything is on this grid. There's like a grid. So you're kind of like, you're placing things that everything's being placed on this kind of essentially tile grid. And what I was trying to do is make it so that which seems like something easy, right? It seems like an easy thing to do, but it took me a while to kind of figure it out, like where you put so if I look at, where is it? So if I look at a cannon here, so you can see here that to get this to work with the grid, and so that there wasn't any weird gaps, I had to put the kind of like the anchor point in the bottom left-hand corner. I probably could have found a way around it, but like that seem like the easiest way to do it at the time. Which is just a pain. Like, and because then when I'm rotating this, that's why it rotates like that. And people aren't really, that doesn't make sense, right? So I think I need to add something where I do it a bit like the rotation. Oh crap. Okay, there's another bug, right? Bug number 2. For some reason, if I click off the screen and then click back on the screen, it disappears. If you see that it's just hidden down here. So I found it. It's okay. Let's rotate. So I need to figure out, the other thing is, look, the cup is upside down. So I need to make sure that that needs to update. Yes, it's GameDev things. Hey Falcon, how's it going with you? Perhaps the input tray is a phantom thing that appears behind the cannon, making the cannon back the center. I don't think I quite followed Dave Soft. Do you mean this? Oh, the tray. Yeah. I think I know what you mean. Yeah. The square thing. Yeah. Right. Can we... So will this work? There's also lots of things to figure out, like, does it roll? Oh, so there's lots of things to think about. Oh, come on. This is really like 60. I'm doing all right. I'm happily making games, and like, I currently have 180 assignments to mark, which I do enjoy, but it's a lot. But there was a deadline yesterday. So yeah, here we go. Right. So 15 under budget, but this is working. Like, I think I'm going to get 100% here. The other, what has kind of made me feel better going through these tonight is realizing how I'm finding different solutions, because I was kind of worried that if I do all this streaming going forward of designing things, like, I'm like, why would you want to buy the game if you know all the levels? But actually, I think there's a bazillion solutions. So there we go. So okay, so that's that one. Now we get into this one, the last one. 250 budget. Yikes. So we're kind of concluding with a challenge. We're kind of adding together everything from the last few levels. And this one is seriously challenging, right? We've got 3 standard nuts. And one of them just wants a nut. And then we've got a furnace here. And we've got 2 toasted nuts. But I can build... So I have the choice of building my own, right? But that's going to cost me 20 space bucks. So, like, I mean, yeah, let's just do that for start. Like, I'm just trying to show you these levels, and I want to actually design a level at some point this evening. So, let's do it. Let's try and. So I want to. Well, even I've kind of made, I've really made this awkward, because my initial gut looking at this, I only designed this last weekend. I should remember how to solve it. But my gut is, and this is kind of I'm going to maximize this. Is that okay? My gut, the initial kind of gut to this is, well, obviously I'm going to put my heater this side, right? Because that's there. But this furnace is the wrong side of this. So actually, I think it makes more sense to use that furnace for this one. Right? So I just realized something I coded the other day. Ooh, okay. Now I'm going to show you something that I added, that I only added after coming up with solutions for this. Right. So I've got 2 exits here that have the same thing. And what I added was, as soon as this fills, the exit closes. So we can set up some crazy production line. So we can do this, right? Let's just, for starters, get this one going. Like this one, like it's going to cost a lot, but I don't think there's any way around it because I'm going up here. I really can't wait to get this into people's hands. Will that do it? There we go. Yeah, that's sorted. So now, I want to do this. So I want to go. So I'm going to what I'm going to do, I'm going to get the nuts through here. I want to get to the furnace and then come back on itself. So I still need to go like, say like down here. I wonder if that will do it. I want to go through the furnace. Yeah, okay, that's so we toasted there. Then, what's my budget? 115, we're okay. So I kind of just want to go, right, so I want to now get this one. So there's a few things, so some kind of little things I need to sort out is that, if you notice here, I can't grab this handle, and that's because the piece of the geometry, the level geometry, is actually blocking my click. So I need to kind of, it's little things like that which are going to be the thing that I need to fix. I'm actually, do I need that one? No, I kind of do. Well, actually, there we go. Okay, right. So I'm not going to put it into there. I want to go up and over it. There we go. So let's put my overlay on, and I know that now it's here. Whoop. Let's put that there. And then we're going to have one here. And then I'm going to need one here to get into that one. I think I might need one more here. Oh, I'm way under budget, look. Okay, so will this do it? Yeah. Now that will fill up. Oh dear, there's a bit of a, okay, we got a bit of a blockage. And look at these guys down here. And now it gets a bit like completely ridiculous. But doing all right, you know. But this is what the game, this is the fun of the game in my this is what we're trying to, we want this situation to happen and you not feel bad about it. We don't want you to feel like, we want you to just laugh at this. Right? This should be a good thing when it should be, one of our design pillars is about it failing miserably and that being a fun thing. So like even now, like I've got a B+, so I feel great, you know, B+ is all right. And I completed the objective, which means if I go back in here, the doors are open. So now I can get to these levels, which I have not designed. So that's what we're going to do. B is for booze. Yeah. Fair play. Right. So, yeah, we kind of want to like, we're going to add like a bunch of like new bits and pieces like for you to get. I think, right. Okay. Let's have a choice. And like, again, like I'm just going to do it based on people who shout in chat. Do you want to see? So we have a choice. Either I can show you some kind of like slightly more end game stuff that we've designed just to test things, or I can design a level. Or okay, Nacho said, yeah, one actually, yeah, okay, let's do that. That's all of it. All of it. Like what I need a decision. So okay, let's do this. I can walk you through a script. Let's do that. So let's, okay, the cannon. Maybe tonight is more of a kind of introduction, right? And then next week we'll do a we are totally having portals. That was like, we can't have a game without portals. Like, that's like, well, yeah, like Cycle 28 didn't have portals. Like, what the heck? What were we thinking? So the canon is quite a, yeah, kind of freaking up. Do you know what? Real talk. I'm just, right. Serious for a second. So the main reason, like, I think I'm okay saying this. Possibly not. I'm going to maybe, like, I feel like this is something Dave would be here and telling me not to say. But there is a reason we haven't patched Cycle 28. And it has to do with something that is unique about Cycle 28 compared to the other games that we've made, which I will let you in chat figure that out. I think you can come up with it. I think you can figure it out. There's something that makes it much more work. So there's quite a fair amount of stuff going on with this canon. So maybe if I explain how it works, and then we can look at the scripts. So real inside, I'll try and, like, I don't know how many people, like, I don't know what level people are familiar with code, so I'm not going to go, I'll try and keep it at a kind of high level. That's a bingo, Nacho. So what we've got two things. We've got, there's this catcher. So the original kind of idea for the original idea for this game was, I wonder if I've got the old, in the future, another one of these development streams, I'll show you some, like, really old prototypes that we haven't shown. So what I've done, this basically the catcher, what happens is, let's look at the catcher code. The catcher code I quite like, edit script. So I made it, what I'm trying to do when I kind of develop this sort of stuff is I want to be able to make, like, modules and bits and pieces that can fit together for other, rather than making something that has one purpose, I want to make a general thing that can be applied to lots of things. Probably not a very good way of explaining what that concept, but, you know, I think some of you might know what I mean here. Right, so this is the catcher script. So I'm working in Unity, so this is C#. So what happens is we have this on trigger enter. So on trigger enter means when a thing enters the trigger, which is like a square trigger, then this is called. And there's a lot going on here. But essentially what happens is when an object goes into that trigger, the game decides whether or not it's going to catch it. Or at least the catcher decides this is something I can catch or not. And so for now, if it decides it's going to catch it, then we get down to here. And what it does is it actually, so every object, every nut, every ingredient has a rigid body on it, which is like controlling the physics. And the physics, and so if we turn that off, if that's turned on, then the physics, the motion and position of that nut is controlled by the physics engine. Whereas when it's in the catcher, we don't. We want the catcher to move it. So what I do is, if you see on line 65 here, when we've caught an object, I turn the physics of that object off. And then I store a reference of that object. Once it's caught, then what happens is, then I invoke this thing on catch. So this catcher is then attached. So I call it. So this catcher is connected to the cannon. So when the catcher catches the nut, it then calls a method on the cannon. Right? So then we can open up our cannon. So our cannon is here. So our catcher is a prefab in itself. So we've got nested prefabs here. So the cannon behavior is here. And edit script. So cannon behavior. Ooh, I've got a to-do here that I forgot about. So we've got start. Okay, we've got launch. On hand, where do we do the move? There's somewhere. Here we go. I think this is one of those hard about coming back to your code a while ago. Somewhere I moved the catcher into the cannon, but I'm not sure where that is. So on catch invoke 83. Yeah, you're right. Start launch sequence. Cannon position. Catcher do move. Yeah, here we go. So I'm using here tween, I think do tween, which is a tweening library. Good spot, Dave Soft. Like nice. Like so the catcher, this is the catcher itself. So the catcher catches, and the other thing it does, it both so it turns off the physics, and then it actually sets the nut as a child of itself. So it catches it, turns off the physics, and then it adds it to it as a child object. And so because it's a child object, it will move wherever we move the catcher, the nut will move with it. My original thought was, I don't know if anyone remembers a game called Magnum Opus. So Magnum Opus, you have like these kind of arms that grab things and move them around. And the idea of this game came from Magnum Opus, but when you move things and release them, there's kind of physics. So originally I wanted to have this catcher catch something, swing around on a big arm, and we probably will add this, and release it and kind of fling it like a catapult. So that's what I mean by I'm kind of designing this to be general, so it can be applied to different situations. Well, it's not self-parenting because it grabs the object and adds it. So the catcher is separate to the catchee. So the catcher grabs the nut and puts it as a child, and then moves it and does whatever. So the cannon's like gets told when the catcher has something, and then it moves the catcher into it, and then it fires it. And when it launches it, it activates the. Well, there. If you look, the catcher itself has a method release object, right? This is within the catcher. So the cannon tells the catcher to remove the object, and it tells the catcher what velocity and direction to move it in. So that's what this function here does. So it's release objects public, and if the catcher has an object, it detaches it. It's no longer a child. It turns the simulation back on, gives it the velocity which comes in from the other thing, and then releases it. And yes, Nacho, God. Oh, can I somehow highlight this? Like, is there a way of me to just like? I feel like I need to give. You already highlighted there. That's incredible. So the catcher. So the catcher keeps track of whether or not it's already got something in it. So it can only have one thing in. Like in theory, I could have more than one thing. And then there's like I've got some probably not very elegantly written code where I check to see it keeps track of it keeps track of the last object it had, so that you don't get into like an infinite loop where the same object just goes back in, because as soon as you turn the physics on, that will trigger. So as soon as we turn the physics back on of this catched object, it's going to trigger this on trigger enter for the catcher again. So you'd end up getting stuck in a loop. It just keep catching itself. And I've got like it's cached as well. So it keeps track of, it essentially keeps track of the nut that was that was caught in the last 10th of a second. And the cannon does the same thing. Is it makes sure that, so there was a situation, Dave sent me a video where he'd set up. I'll show you the setup, but I fixed the bug, so you won't be able to see the bug. So what he set up was, where am I? I also need in this view, like there's a clear problem with this view, which is he's hidden behind there. So we need an arrow pointing down, right? We need like a dick or something. So just launch at any old level. So what Dave did was he set up a cannon like this. So it was fired back into itself. And the way I had it set up was that the catcher would catch it again. So it would just go. And I was actually, despite the fact it was a bug, I was pretty happy that it worked at all. Like that was like, oh yeah, no, this works that's exactly how I coded it. Right. And it was other things like this where so it keeps track of what was the last thing in there. Okay. So that's the cannon. And there's also this stuff, like I've got the UI handle here, which is an object that's draggable. And then there's a line that's drawn between it. I kind of probably need to work on, like I said, there's lots of stuff we need to work on in terms of juice and like making it feel good to play and like to move these things, because that's what you're going to do. Like here's a question for you, right? Which I have been thinking about for a long time. Let's just go here. Right. So when I click on this to drag it, I've made it so the cursor disappears. Right? Should the cursor disappear? Is that so like does that make sense? Does that make sense? Like what the reason that I'm wondering if it think it might not make sense is, let's say I try to move it down here. Now, I don't really know where my cursor is now, other than I've made it so you can see I've made it so that the things that are blocking stuff like pulsate like that. So I've added this pulsating thing, so you can kind of see where you are, and then I can get back. But yeah, that's an interesting one. And again with the rotation, like if I try and rotate here, it won't work. So I've added this little feedback. If you notice, it kind of shakes a little bit. I want to know what that face was frozen. What? I don't know what you are. You have to explain it in words. So, okay, right. I can't believe 2 subs tonight. Thank you, everyone. I just noticed that a thinking face. Cool. That's good. Good. Yeah. So it's things like that, right? That are really hard to kind of nail down. There's so many moving parts. Do you want to see, like, I'm thinking, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you some advanced level, a kind of more advanced level, like a further on down the line sort of level we're testing some things out. Is this the one? Let's have a look. Candy floss test. Some of these might be broken. Yeah. So yeah, there's let's go to double trouble. So yeah, this one's quite nice. So play, let's maximize, because this will give you an idea of where we can go with this. Some of you might have seen this on TikTok and stuff, but I can talk through it a bit now. Yeah, so I'm going to I'll go through this and then kind of give you a sense of where we're at and where we're going. And then we'll get properly into kind of just development. And this will be quite a nice video to kind of maybe stick on YouTube and say, hey, this is the game, I think. So now here, what we've got is we've got 2 exits. This one here is a chocolate covered almond. So we've we've got almonds coming in here, but it's a chocolate covered toasted almond, which turns out isn't really a thing, but you know. And here we've got candy floss. So with the candy floss, it works slightly differently. So if I, right, let's go here. Where are we? I'm going to zoom a little bit because this one does need. There we go. So I'm gonna throw out. This is sugar. Now here, if I heat sugar, oh, wrong way. Actually, let's do it this side. Let's do it this side, then we can see it a bit better. So, does it roll? Oh, no, wrong bloody way again. Right, turn that around. That rolls. Okay, so let's put this straight up. Candy floss, as we all know, or cotton candy for frozen, is light. So what happens is it floats. So now suddenly we have something where the physics is different. It also, I'm going to just get rid of the chocolate so it doesn't. I'm just going to throw the chocolate off to one side so we can see what goes on here. It's sticky. So what I've done, if you look here, you can see it actually is kind of. I'm going to also do this because it's just going to. I'm going to just put that there so it doesn't. Right. So one, it doesn't float. It has zero like gravity. The gravity on it is zero, so it just whatever direction you throw it in. But it actually sticks to things. So when it's in contact with something, it applies a force at that contact point. So you end up having something that looks sort of sticky like this, and you get these really cool, like this kind of cool emergent behavior, which is like absolutely my jam. So you can see here, like it's starting to sink now because these are all pulling it down. It's got quite heavy. So you have so there we go. So that's kind of like a different, and it's surprising how much. Well, it's not. It's probably. I say surprising, right? It's surprising how much that adds because watch. Get ready to blow. Get ready for your mind to be absolutely blown by what I'm about to do. The machine shut down. They kind of do shut down when they're jammed up, but that wasn't by design. It just kind of happens. Right. Yeah, we definitely need to sprinkle. Right, watch this. So, on the top of this conveyor belt, things go that way. On the bottom, because it's a conveyor belt, it goes the other. Like it's. Am I making sense here? The conveyor belt is like a circle, and so on the top it goes that way, and on the bottom it goes that way. So you can do things like you can have this conveyor belt now. I can use the bottom of the conveyor belt because it's light. And so that opens up a lot of kind of design. So let's actually try and do this then. So this level, like this is just, I put this together to test some stuff. So it's I didn't like, but actually it's kind of, I think as the game progresses, so as the game progresses, I think the levels might become less with less stuff in because that actually opens up, it makes it kind of more challenging and you got to think a bit more. Right, how should we do this then? What I usually do with this level is set up the nuts and stuff first. Let's just set up the chocolate. Let's ignore this. Yeah, so Dave Soft saying that the last nut fired can't be fired. So if we look here, the caching only lasts for 0.1 of a second. So the last nut can be fired after a 1/10 of a second. But it still kind of ends up getting blocked here. And so options for passive parts, yes, we definitely want to add more kind of just like trampolines here and stuff like that, and like a wall that is just to do with Because what I realized is when we added the conveyor belts, I realized I was using the conveyor belt as a wall. So you could have a $1 wall maybe or something. Okay, so let's do this. Let's do this. So I want my chocolate going this way. Yeah, I feel good about the fact that every time I've played this level, I've done something different. So this was the level, really, I did a lot of debugging with the conveyor belts. So the chocolate melts into melted chocolate. I'm going to put it there. Also, you'll notice the chocolate is a square, so it behaves differently when it lands. You can see it kind of flips. So it feels different. Even just the shape of something suddenly changes the way things feel. Yes, Dave stopped saying up belt and down belt. I think Dave has already made the assets for that. So I just need to implement it. You can use these as kind of an up belt because it's still working that way, but it only really works with the candy floss. So we've got the melted chocolate coming here. I think it was Lucley, wasn't it, that made the basketball? Well, all of it. Do you know the other thing is this game is completely inspired by all that stuff with the all the making at home, all those crazy machines with making at home. We basically wanted to make a game but a game. You did make some stuff, didn't you, Dave? I'm sure you've got some stuff in the workshop. Okay, so now we're toasted. So now if we hit these things together, we need to aim this right. Right. Oh, I can use my overlay, can't I? So that's going to go... This one's getting there too quickly, right? What if I do this? Okay, this actually... Right, if I put that more like there... And this one more down... Oh, I don't know how. I guess I don't know how people are going to feel about this sort of thing. Like this kind of tweaking. Is this satisfying? Right. Okay, we got it. I kind of think it's satisfying, but I like physicsy games. So now if I put that there. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So we got that kind of sorted. Now I need to get I think I want to cross the streams here, right? So I want to see if I can so I'm going to fire this. Oh, what's going to happen here when these get up to this? Is that going to help me out at all? No, it didn't quite work. So Dave stuff, do you mean like a hinting system? If I put one here. Ooh. Okay, right. I think we're going to use one of these guys. So if I... Okay. Oh, no, right. So this is where timing is going to become an issue. What if I go up here? Oh, that does it. Right. That could do it. So yeah, variable. So yes, the... Oh, yeah, just about. That's flipping clear. Okay, we have some misses. But generally, kind of mostly hitting. There's some nuts down here that haven't got chocolate on. And now it's like completely messed up. So the kind of thing that you can do, of course, is like something like this, where I could say that a bunch of chocolate came down here, and this is where like yeah. Oh yeah. So I knew someone was going to ask for drawable belts. I'm going to do right. So what I've tried to do here is that if anything falls down here, it's going to put it back into the system. In theory, if I've got this set up right, so that's gone down. Oh no, it didn't quite do it. So this needs to be down here. I just don't care about budget at this point, right? I'm just having fun. So that's going to go down here. I think we're going to need another one. I need to make sure that I don't block this. So let's go like that. This might, maybe this will do it. Oh, that missed straight away. Okay, so now, right, that's what I want to do is I just want to get things back into the loop. Or, oh shit, no, I should do this, right? I should go, right, hang on. I should just get it back into here. Yeah, yes, the ghost thing, yes, you are, yes, that's a great idea. That's what this kind of like half like this overlay. I also like I'll show you in a second our doc of what we want to add. Right, is that, so now I should be able to get up here. I want to be safe, so I'm going to just put that there. Let's see how this goes. I need to. The other thing, of course, is that because it's based on the wrong freaking way. Because it's based on the physics engine. Have I got these going in the same direction? I already need to add arrows. There is some like sometimes like just physics isn't. There's sometimes some randomness. It's not randomness, but it's sometimes. No worries, Nacho. Thanks for coming along. Okay, does this work? Going up here, up here. Yeah, now that's in. So that's going to go back on the loop. So we now need to do the same the other direction. I don't know when did it all fail in the other direction? So I guess a nut probably comes down here, right? So so we need to, so if something misses there, it's probably going to fall somewhere like here. So let's put this like there. Go there, there. There. Again, I'm being lazy. I just want to see if this works. Let's have another conveyor here. That's not going to work. Thanks, Frozen. It's about like, so yeah, it's just, the thing is, it's like, how do we, like, the things that are going through our mind at the moment is like, have we got the look right? Like, what do we need to do about it? Is the art style okay? And did I move? Oh, fudge. I moved the one I needed for here. So that needs to go there, right? And like up there. Where did I? Okay, then that works. Right, I want to, right, so that one went out. Oh no, it went all the way down there. Right, so, okay, we need it here. So any that don't get entered in, And we need similarly on this side, right? We need to say any that... We just need to throw it out that way. So that should be okay. Oh, what? Like, oh, I moved the bloody thing. I moved the thing. That was there, right? Right. Oh, no, it wasn't there. It must have been lower. There we go. Okay, we're all right there. And then all these guys are kind of like... But hopefully... Okay, now we've got these guys coming back through. It's sort of working now. So we've got a loop at least. Sort of. Like... Now we just need... Oh, and this is the thing. I'm like... I just want to keep doing it. I just want to keep... So I think that's the right way. So let's just put some of these up here for any stray candy floss. So yeah, so that was a tour of kind of where we are with this game at the moment. So does that work? If these... Oh, I'm not quite high enough. Not quite high enough. Oh. Let's... So yeah, so basically I figure that, you know, I'm going to do a bit more of this. So I think at least... So the idea is that we're kind of replacing all the stuff we'd normally do on Patreon, doing it here on Twitch. So thank you so much for everyone that subbed. That really helps us. But yeah, that kind of works now. And yeah, so so the kind of things we're going to do, I'm going to do some more development. So next week I'll start like doing some level design, maybe some coding. But also I was thinking I could do like look at it go, like, but it's still looping round. I kind of want to see what efficiency I get here. I have done this with 100% efficiency, by the way. You can check that out on our TikTok at PillBugInt. There's a version of me doing this that actually worked. But, oh, it's still moving. But now, unfortunately, the chocolate and the toasted almonds are kind of on the same loop. So I don't know if they're ever going to hit each other. Yeah, so the other thing I thought... that one hit something. This is kind of working. The other thing I thought I'd do as well is like do monthly... I used to do on Twitter... those of you who are patrons will remember that I did the monthly like earnings, basically, and like sales reports, which I think some people find quite interesting. And I haven't been really doing those. I don't even really have a sense of how things are going sales-wise at the moment, other than when we meet with our accountants. But so I thought I'd do that like once a month, just kind of talk about how sales have gone and give you a bit of an insight into really what we do and the kind of behind-the-scenes stuff. But let me know what you think of all that. And, you know, let us know what you want us to do. I'll still play some games every now and again because, you know, playing games is fun. But yeah, thanks everyone for coming along. Like I said, yeah, just thanks for all your support. And yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you thought. Have a great week. Have a good day. Have a good evening. And I shall see you next week. Take it easy.